I remain your favorite math tutor, Mr. Victor. Today we'll be having a wonderful topic to look at, indicial equations. Now this question is actually an advanced question under indices. And I've done justice to that. I've done several questions, several solving under indices. So you can go through our previous videos to watch questions on indices, so you understand what we are doing here. So now let's go here now. Indicial question is actually most of indices question that leads to quadratic equation. Here we have an equation. Let's have an example here. We have 2 raised to the power 2x plus 4 brackets, 2 raised to the power x, close brackets, then minus 32. You can have it this way. Sometimes they may even put equals to 0. But at this point, we don't need this equals to 0 here. It's solution, because this is a question or a problem that needs solution to it. Now, first thing is to look at this. What is common among here? We have 2x, 2x. You can say let 2x, let 2 raised to the power x be, we can use m, you can use any alphabet. But the reason why we use x here is that we already have x here. So we already have variable x performing an act in this equation. So here, let's use another alphabet. So let 2 raised to the power x be this, or let 2 raised to the power x be y. So let's use this because we often use y and x. So let 2 raised to the power x be y. Next thing you do is replace it here. If you have watched our previous video, you know that we say that 2 raised to the power x raised to the power 2. This under the laws of power, under the laws of indices, we have what we call power of power. When a number or a figure or a variable is under power and you now enclose it and put another power, what is happening is that the power will be the power after the bracket will be multiplying the other power. So here you'll be having 2 raised to the power 2 raised to the power x times 2, which will give us 2 raised to the power 2x. So therefore, if this is true, that means this equation is the same thing as this. That if this is true, if this is correct, then 2 raised to the power 2x is the same as 2 raised to the power x bracket 2. So at this point, if this, we can actually replace this as 2 raised to the power x bracket 2 as y raised to the power 2. What is y? Remember we said let 2x be what? Y. So this 2x is now what? Y. Then raised to the power this 2, raised to the power this 2. So that's how we got this 2. With this question now, we can go straight and say y raised to the power 2 plus 4. This, remember that, recall that 2x, okay, let 2x be y. So 2x, 2 raised to the power x is what? Y. So we have 4 bracket y, which is something as 4 times y, and it will give us 4y minus 32. I made a mistake. I said 4x, I said 2x. This is not 2x, this is 2 raised to the power x, this is 2 raised to the power x. So now, here we'll have a quadratic equation here. I believe that you should know how to solve quadratic equation, but I'm going to explain how to solve this quadratic equation. We can solve quadratic equation using factorization method, completing the square method, and almighty formula. So different tutors may even have different way of solving quadratic equation. So, but here we are going to be using factorization method. And in factorization method, what are you going to do? You are going to bring out the constant. We'll call this constant under a quadratic equation. This is recognized as A, B, C. And we do call the figure without variable attached to it, or with a number without being a constant. A constant is a number in front of a variable. So this is actually the coefficient rather. So this is a coefficient. Why a constant is just a number without the variable. Without any number that is serving not as a coefficient of anything is actually the constant, the one we are using as the constant. So now we have a constant here. This constant, you bring it out, you can write it out somewhere in your jotter on your solving and find, it goes with the sign in front of it. What's the sign in front of it? Minus 32. So what is the number, or are the factors? What are the factors that when you multiply them, it will give you minus 32. It will give you this particular constant. When you multiply them, it will give you this figure. And when you sum them together, it will give you plus 4. And the reason why you're only considering this 4 is that because we don't have any coefficient. There is no coefficient of y square here. There's no number here. That's why we are considering only this coefficient. If there's number here, we would have actually multiplied them before we talk about getting a factor that when you sum them together, it will give you this. So we are only considering these two figures now in factorizing this. So at this point, we'll have 4, but what are the two numbers, factors of this? We'll have factor 4 and 8 will give you this. Which other number can divide this? 2 and 16 will give you this. Then to make this into the minus, you can say minus 4 plus 8, then 2 times any of them. But do you know one good thing about this? We are looking at numbers that when you sum them together, it will give you this. And this is actually the number that will give you that. This number, when you sum this number together, when you say minus 4 plus 8 will give us plus 4. If minus 4 plus 8 will give us plus 4, that means we are going with this. We'll now say y raised to the power 2 plus these two constants, these two numbers, these two factors of minus 32 will now replace this, which is still the same. 4y is still equal to minus 4y plus 8y. If you sum this thing together, you are owing 4y and you have 8y. If you sum them together, it will give you 4y is equals to 4y. So if nothing has changed, we are replacing it with that. We now have 4 minus 4y. We are replacing it with minus 4y plus 8y minus 32 equals to 0. Here, you can write equals to 0. You can leave it like this. Here, we now have four figures or 4 things. So you separate it in twos. You bracket it this way. Now, what is common among these two? We have y here. So bring out one y. Y divide y, we are left with one y. Minus y divide this, we are left with 4. You close the bracket. Now, what is common among these two? 8. 8 can divide this. Now, in another way around, if you are being very elementary, you are actually looking for the HCF, the highest thing that can go in both things, or the highest thing that can divide both of them. So we'll go by 8 plus 8 though. So we now have plus 8, close bracket. 8 divide this will give us y. Now 8 divide this minus remains here. 8 divide this will give us 4. So now we'll have two the same figure. Just choose one. We now have, bring out these outside numbers. Y plus 8 and y minus 4. Having gotten these questions here, so we'll be going forward to make this an equation where we'll be having y plus 4 all together. Let's open the bracket, equal to 0, and we'll have y plus 8 equal to 0 and y minus 4 equal to 0, minus 4 equal to 0. So that's what we have here. We just open the bracket and we made it an equation by equating it to 0. So after equating it to 0, the next thing you do here is solve each of them, which is very simple equation. This is equal to, let's make, okay, y plus 8 equal to 0. When plus 8 cross equality sign, the sign of 8 changes to minus. So we're having y is equal to 0 minus 8 and y is equal to minus 8. Then we'll be having y minus 4 equal to 0. When this cross equality sign becomes plus 4 and y is equal to 4. So this is the answer. But because we are trying to factorize this question, you won't just stop here. Because this is minus, we are choosing the one with positive. You are going to be using with the positive figure. So let our y be what? 4. Since we've gotten this question here, then we can come back to what we said here. Recall that we said, let 2x be y. Let 2x be y. So now, if 2 raised to power x, not 2x rather, if 2 raised to power x is equals to y, then our y, we want to use back that number. Then we'll have 2 raised to power x is equals to 4. If y is equals to 4, remember that y is the same thing as 2 raised to power x. So 2x is equals to 4. Now we're going back to indices here. If you have this figure, what do? Make this thing to be in the same root of this. You know, this is the number raised to power something. So let it be raise this to, so do this thing. 2 raised to power what will give you 4. 2 raised to power what will give you 4. See, 4 is the same thing as 2 times 2, which is the same thing as 2 raised to power 2. Therefore, we'll be having something like 2 raised to power x is equals to 2 raised to power 2. Cancel this. X is equals to 2. We've gotten our x, and that's our answer.